Hi, and thank you for joining me on another episode of the Tech Exec Podcast, which in the past week was listed yet again on two different lists of top podcasts for CTOs and tech executives. So you're in the right place. As always, I'm your host, Aviv Ben-Yosef, and our subject today is just because you can. As almost always, this topic is something that I just happened to see recently with several different clients in the past week, actually. And therefore, I was thinking, oh my God, I'm wondering how many of my listeners are committing the same mistake. I gotta record a podcast about that. So just because you can. I know that essentially all of you have too many things to do. It's not as if I happen to come by tech executives nowadays who have just so much spare time thinking, what are we going to be doing today? And therefore, it's very odd when given that I see people putting on their plates things that don't make any sense at the moment when I look at it from the outside, with an outsider's perspective, without any, prejudice, because I'm not in the organization. I don't sense them whatever momentum or whatever they already have in place. I just look at it from the outside and I very clearly see it and think, that doesn't make sense. But for them, and probably for you, being on the inside, a lot of times you cannot even register that you're just doing something without giving it enough thought, just because, you can. And that's the topic. So one example to help you understand what I'm thinking about here is an engineering organization that's so heavily stressed. They have so many things to do. They have really, really hard deadlines. Everything is so intense. And yet they have this infrastructure project that's been going on the side for months now without any clear deadlines, any clear milestones, just because somehow they managed to get a couple of senior engineers to work on this without being harassed. And I'm looking at it from the outside and I'm asking them, wow, is this actually worth it? Why are we doing this? And, essentially, when the CTO was talking to me, the reply was, we got these people already. They weren't assigned anything else. So no one, from product seems to be waiting to get them back because they have this set of skills that's relatively unique. So, they're doing that. Like, yeah, but they're good engineers. They can do something else. You have everyone else around here drowning, and these people are working on an infrastructure project that's not that important, not that impactful, that's taking, too long, like taking a piece of gum and just stretching it so long because you don't have any real objectives. The problem that they're solving is nothing urgent. And even if it were to be solved tomorrow, it wouldn't make that big of a difference. And you're just letting it go on and on, as opposed to saying, okay, let's take these people who are very good people, who are senior engineers, and have them do something else. Why? Again, just because we can, and we're addicted to the momentum. Another example is a different CTO, also in an engineering organization that's very stressed. A lot of things going on, a lot of changes, and all of a sudden, we're talking about stuff, and he was contemplating 2 extra infrastructure changes. And I'm like, okay, why? Like, yeah, because we already are looking into this, and I'll probably have to do it in a year anyway, or something like that. And I'm listening to all of it, and I can understand why in the moment, as he's looking at things just flying at him, the instinct is like, okay, yeah, I'm just going to answer it. I'm just going to handle the issue. I'm just going to put it on our plan. But I was taking a second. I'm like, okay, let's look at everything going on. Look at all the risks you've got. Look at, how little margin, little buffers you've got and everything else. Does it make sense? Even if, on paper, if everything goes smoothly with no errors, you will be able to do what you already have planned and this extra stuff you want to do. Yes, in theory, okay. But you're not planning for any margin of error here. So if someone gets sick, a new, bug gets discovered, an outage, an urgent business need, anything that happens, just, put in something as thin as a needle into that stack and it's going to fall over. And I'm like, if that's the case, then maybe we shouldn't just be aiming at this perfect scenario, happy path, and assuming everything's going to be fine and dandy. But instead, given that these things, again, just because you can start them. But if you look at it, they can also wait, and probably nothing bad is going to happen. Why not wait? Why overload the team doing exactly this, exactly now? And that's the concept of today's episode. I want you to take stock, go over the different things that you have on your plate, the different things that you're planning, already decided to do, and think about the timeliness of it all. Or about the fact that maybe you're doing things, again, because it is possible. Because now with AI or whatever, we can do this. We can put the data in this. We can do this experiment. We can connect to that API, whatever. Everything's in an MCP. But is it actually worth it? Some things are experiments. You do things even without knowing yet whether it's going to be worth it. That's a different scenario. But sometimes we do things that, even when you picture in your mind everything that's going to happen, if it goes according to plan, if you do all that, still, the bottom line is underwhelming. And if that's the case, are you doing the right things? So people can be working on improving the loading time of their website. But when I'm looking at it, like, yeah, of course, probably never people will tell you, yeah, no, the website shouldn't be loading faster. But if you look at it and you dig through the statistics and you see, okay, for 95% of the users, for 95% of the cases, it's perfectly fine. And even the spikes are not that interesting, not that important, don't seem to be affecting anything when it comes to our bottom line. Then, is it actually worth it? Yeah, you can optimize it even more. Maybe you even have an idea, or you have someone who's an expert and can tackle it. All of those might be true. But just because you can, does that mean that this is currently the right thing to do? We have to think about our priorities. We have to keep in mind not just the things as they appear on your calendar right now, but again, as I did 5 minutes ago, 3 minutes ago, when we were talking about adding projects, you have to look at things not just in the happy path. Think about the buffers. Think about the extra stress, the reduction of margin, and all of those things need to still make sense. Sometimes that's the case because we're like, okay, we are going to be running without margin, which means that we very likely will be delaying some of the deadlines here, missing something, but that's worth it because of ABC. Fine. That means that you're doing something because you've looked into everything, you're weighing all the different options, and you've decided to do it. That's entirely different than just going with momentum and doing something just because you can. That's very reactive leadership, and it's not you having the backbone of saying no or not now, which is crucial for any meaningful leader. We cannot just do whatever pops up. We have to have this muscle of prioritization, of delaying things, of saying no to things, because otherwise you're not really leading. You're just, juggling everything that gets thrown at you. That's it for this week. I hope that by now you already have an inkling of something that maybe you need to review. If not, take a second and do it. 5 minutes, review everything you've got in store for the next couple of months. I'm certain you're going to find something that can be delayed or that actually doesn't even make any sense at all, not just delaying it. If you find it, let me know. Send me an email. My email is in the show notes. I'll be happy to hear. If you don't find anything, that's even more interesting. Let me know then. I'm waiting to hear from you. If you have any questions or comments, again, my email is in the show notes. If you haven't yet, do check out my newsletter that goes out every week with this podcast, an article, a video, and extra free goodies. Link in the show notes. And I'll see you here next week. Ciao.